Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, student. How are you today? Are you fine? Okay. Before we go to our study, we pray first. Thank you. Student, this day we want to talk about narrative text. Did you remember about narrative text? Yes. Okay.
Oke, jadi ada beberapa bagian dalam pembelajaran kita mengenai naratif teks ini ya. Yang pertama, definition and function, definisi dan fungsi dari teks naratif. The second one, types of narrative, tipe-tipe dari teks naratif. The third one, generic structures, struktur dari teks naratif. And the last one, the language features atau unsur kebahasaan. We come to the first one, yang bagian pertama adalah definition and function of narrative text. So, narrative text is a kind of text that tells imaginary stories of one or more characters who face certain situations which are made with an aim to entertain or amuse the reader. Jadi maksudnya, teks naratif adalah suatu bentuk teks yang menceritakan cerita khayalan atau imajinasi tentang satu karakter atau lebih dalam menghadapi situasi tertentu yang dibuat dengan tujuan untuk menghibur para pembaca. We come to the second one, bagian kedua adalah types of narrative text atau tipe-tipe dari teks naratif. Yang pertama, di sini ada folk tale atau cerita rakyat. Ini adalah sebuah cerita yang berasal dari budaya populer, biasanya disampaikan dari mulut ke mulut dan berkembang di masyarakat. The second one, fairy tale atau dikenal juga dengan dongeng. Ini adalah cerita anak-anak tentang makhluk atau tempat khayalan. The third one, fable. Ini adalah sebuah cerita pendek biasanya dengan hewan sebagai karakter. Okay, the fourth one, legend atau legenda. Ini adalah sebuah cerita tradisional yang kadang-kadang dianggap sebagai sejarah tetapi tidak dapat dibuktikan kebenarannya. And then romance atau roman, ini adalah cerita yang berfokus pada hubungan dan cinta romantis antara dua orang. And then science fiction atau fiksi ilmiah, ini adalah fiksi berdasarkan imajinasi kemajuan ilmiah atau teknologi masa depan. And etc. many others. Jadi banyak tipe-tipe yang lain, cuman yang beberapa ini yang perlu kita ketahui. And then we come to the third one, bagian ketiga, generic structures of narrative text atau struktur dari teks naratif. The first one is orientation. Jadi bagian pertama itu disebut orientation. It is about the opening of paragraph where the characters in the story are introduced. The settings, when and where are also mentioned. Jadi maksudnya ini adalah paragraf pembuka di mana biasanya karakter cerita atau tokoh cerita itu diperkenalkan. Selain itu juga dimuat latar waktu dan latar tempat di mana cerita itu terjadi. Nah, jadi paragraf ini bisa menjawab pertanyaan, what is the story about? Tentang apa cerita itu? Who are the characters? Siapa saja karakternya atau tokohnya? Where is the place setting? Di mana tempat kejadiannya? Kemudian when is the time setting? Di mana latar tempatnya? The second part is complication. Jadi kalau tadi di paragraf pertama itu adalah orientation, paragraf kedua dan mungkin beberapa paragraf berikutnya itu namanya complication. Ini adalah where the problems in the story developed. Jadi di dalam paragraf ini terdapat masalah yang menjadi inti dari cerita. Menceritakan awal masalah yang menyebabkan krisis atau klimaks, complication biasanya melibatkan karakter utama. Nah, jadi berbeda dengan paragraf pertama orientation tadi yang terdiri dari satu paragraf, complication bisa terdiri dari dua atau lebih paragraf, tergantung kepada panjang ceritanya. Okay, the third one is resolution. where the problems in the story are solved. Jadi dalam paragraf ini itu terdapat penyelesaian dari masalah yang sudah ada sebelumnya. Dalam naratif teks, setiap permasalahan yang muncul harus ada penyelesaiannya. Bisa ditutup dengan akhir yang menyenangkan atau happy ending, atau tidak sedikit yang berakhir tragis atau menyedihkan yang juga disebut dengan sad ending. Jadi resolution itu mengandung ending atau penyelesaian dari cerita tadi. The fourth one is reorientation atau coda, ya, closing of the story. Yang ini bersifat optional atau pilihan. Jadi tidak wajib ada. Di dalam reorientation atau coda ini terdapat pernyataan penutup cerita yang berisi tentang pelajaran moral, saran atau pengajaran dari penulis. Now we come to the fourth one, the language features atau unsur kebahasaan. Unsur kebahasaan yang pertama adalah menggunakan simple past tense atau past continuous tense. Nah, seperti contoh ya, di sini terdapat beberapa contoh simple past tense. Misalnya di sini their only son Sang Kuryang was soon born. Jadi di sini penggunaan to be dalam simple past. He grew up to be a handsome and healthy boy. Di sini grew adalah verb to ya, dari grow. Di sini juga he always played. Di sini verb to dari play. Jadi ini adalah semuanya yang merah ini adalah simple past tense. And di sini juga ada contoh past continuous tense. She was thinking hard to find a way not to marry him. Was thinking, penggunaan to be was dengan verb ing itu adalah past continuous tense. The second one menggunakan adverbs of time atau keterangan waktu. For example, di sini ya, dalam paragraf pertama tentang cerita Sang Kuryang, once upon a time in West Java, Indonesia, pada suatu waktu di Jawa Barat. Nah, yang merah ini adalah keterangan waktu. Atau juga bisa seperti ini, one day, suatu hari, her weaving tool. Nah, one day adalah keterangan waktu. Itu biasa kita temukan di dalam narrative text. Other examples, a long time ago, pada zaman dahulu, one day, in the morning, the next day, immediately, and first, then, after, that, etc. Itu semuanya adalah adverbs of time yang kita temukan dalam narrative text. And then the third one, menggunakan kalimat langsung dan tidak langsung atau direct and indirect speech. Untuk kalimat langsungnya atau direct speech-nya, di sini ada contoh, Can anybody help me get my tool? If you are a female, I will take you as my sister. If you are a male, I will marry you. Ini adalah kutipan dari perkataan Dayang Sumbi ya. Nah, contohnya, ciri-cirinya kalimat langsung atau direct speech ini adalah penggunaan tanda kutip. Nah, berarti ini adalah kalimat langsung. Sedangkan untuk kalimat tidak langsung atau indirect speech itu tidak menggunakan tanda kutip, tapi dia berupa pernyataan seperti ini. She asked him to make her a lake and a boat in one night. Dia memintanya untuk membuatkannya danau dan perahu dalam satu malam. Jadi di sini tidak langsung ujarannya ya, dalam berupa kalimat. Okay. Now let's read the following folk tale. Ini adalah cerita Sang Kuryang. Let's read and listen the text together.
Once upon a time in West Java, Indonesia, lived a princess named Dayang Sumbi. She was beautiful and kind-hearted. Her hobby was weaving cloth. But sometimes she could be very lazy. One day her weaving tool fell, but she was too lazy to get it herself. She shouted out, "Can anybody help me get my tool? If you are a female, I will take you as my sister. If you are a male, I will marry you." A male creature came, but it was a dog. His name was Temeng. He happily brought her the tool to her. Dayang Sumbi was very surprised, but she kept her promise. She married the dog. Temeng was actually a man who had been cursed by a witch to become a dog. But at certain times Temeng could turn back to be a normal man. Their only son, Sang Kuryang, was soon born, and he grew up to be a handsome and healthy boy. He always played with his very loyal dog, Temeng. He did not know that he was actually his father, because Daeng Sumbi hid the secret from him. Sang Kuriang liked to hunt in the woods, of course with Tumeng. When he was 12 years old, Daeng Sumbi asked Sang Kuriang to bring her a deer's heart. But after many days in the woods, he could not find a deer. He did not want to disappoint his mother, so he killed Tumeng and brought his heart home and gave it to his mother. Because of her love to Tumeng, Daeng Sumbi knew it was his heart, not a deer's heart. She got very angry at Sang Kuriang. She hit him with a piece of wood on his forehead, and told him to go away. Badly wounded, Sang Kuriang left her in the village. One day, Sang Kuriang went back to his village. He was big and strong. There he met a beautiful young woman. He did not know that she was Daeng Sumbi. She could never get older because she was granted eternal youth by the gods. He fell in love with her at the first sight. One day, he approached Daeng Sumbi to propose her. Daeng Sumbi saw the scar on his forehead. She soon realized that she was her own son, Sang Kuriang. She told him the truth again and again, but he would not believe her. She was thinking hard to find a way not to marry him. Then, she got an idea. She gave him a task which she thought was impossible for him to do. She asked him to make her a lake and a boat in one night. She did not know Sang Kuriang had genies to help him to do the task. By dawn, both the lake and the boat were almost done. Daeng Sumbi got very worried. She was thinking hard again to find a way to fail him. Then, she had an idea. She asked the people in the village to burn the woods in the east, so that the light made all the cocks in the village crow. The genies thought that the morning was almost broken. They ran away as fast as they could, leaving the boat unfinished. Knowing Daeng Sumbi cheated him, Sang Kuriang got very angry. He kicked the boat so hard that it went upside down. It is now known as Mount Tangkuban Perahu.
Okay, that's all our lesson now. I hope you all understand my explanation. See you again in the next video. Bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.